So which one's cheaper, for you to do it or for them to do it? I'll wait. Yeah, so make it make sense, right? Hey, you guys, how you doing? How's your mother, brother, sister, cousin doing? I hope you're doing well. All right, so today I want to get straight into it. We're going to be talking about quantifying your time, because what I find is a lot of entrepreneurs are looking to build and scale. And if you watched my other YouTube video, I talked about what the difference between scaling and then also just elevating your business. So I want you to go back and watch that video. But today I want to talk about quantifying your time, because it's going to make it easier for you to delegate tasks. It's going to be easier for you to grow your business, right? But you're like, Charese, what does that actually mean? So let's do the math. Listen, the math always go math with me, okay? So let's say that first you need to quantify your time and how much it costs for you to do a thing, right? So let's say you're worth $175 an hour, right? And let's say you're doing a task. Let's say it's your bookkeeping, right? I'm a bookkeeper, okay? And it takes you 2 hours to do your bookkeeping every week to make sure that everything's together, right? So at the end of the month, right, if you're doing your bookkeeping 2 hours every week, that's $1,400, all right? We go put it somewhere. $1,400, okay? Now let's say you're like, you want to hire me, and you're like, Charese, what's your prices? And I'm like, packages start at 500. I think what a lot of entrepreneurs hear is, oh my goodness, $500. But the other part is you're actually spending $1,400 employing yourself to do the task. So which one's cheaper, for you to do it or for them to do it? I'll wait. Yeah, so make it make sense, right? And this also leads into an even bigger nuance conversation, right? A lot of times, so I read the book. Again, we're going to go to the show notes and look up the entrepreneur must read books. Rachel Rogers wrote a book called We Should All Be Millionaires. And I read this book during the pandemic. And one of the reasons I loved it is because it challenged me to think big, but not only to think big and quantifying my time, but to stop calling things luxury when they're not. I think there's a conversation happening, and words matter. If you've listened to the podcast long enough, you know, for me, words matter. And we gonna go on a tangent today. Okay, listen. So if words matter, right? Something that you say is a luxury, it's not. And let me explain why. So if a luxury means that it is something that's actually, let's look up the words. So if words really matter, what does luxury mean? I mean, because if we're talking about the things, let's talk about it. The word luxury means it's a state of great comfort and extravagant living. Okay. I think you eating, keeping your house clean, that's sanitary, right? So you don't get sick, right? That's not a luxury. That's actually something you need. So let me add this. So Rachel Rogers, and actually, if I could find it, I'll put a link for you to make your own list. Talks about quantifying your time and what does it look like to add other pieces and outsource things. So something that I put on my list and something I'm actually just starting to implement next year is I'm adding a food service to my regular life, day-to-day stuff, and I'm getting someone to come clean my house at least once a month. And you're probably like, oh, this is a mindset thing. You get to telling somebody that, and they're like, oh, you think you're better than me, or oh, you fancy now. Actually, fancy is actually in the name of my business, to be honest with you. But the reality of the situation is that when you quantify your time, right, how long does it take you to make a grocery list? And if you're, counting your coins like me, I also cut coupons. It takes time to do that. I gotta go get in my car, go get the groceries, stand in line, then bring said groceries into my house, cook them and wash dishes. Baby, get someone else to do it, right? When you quantify your time, this thing is actually not a luxury. And the food service, I usually use one during tax time because it's a busy season, right? And when I quantify my time and how much it costs for me to get Uber, when I was doing that for a lot, Uber Eats or Grubhub or something like that, it was cheaper for me to get the Grubhub, make a band in an hour doing taxes, or get Grubhub, or get my own groceries. Like, make it make sense. So my task for you today is to make your, what we're going to call your luxury list, but really it's your $1 million movement to move your business from the kind of making it to like scaling it. And if you're in a space where you're like, I'm just beginning, Charese, I really don't have the money to do the things. Yes, there are some things that you have to do for yourself. But once you get into a place where you can pay someone else to do it, baby, chef's kiss. Because the reality situation is, as a CFO, you need to find revenue driven activities so that you can get those things happening, right? The other part of that is when you conceptualize your time. And actually, I was thinking about another luxury is, working out, getting up early. And again, people, listen, I'm not saying anything you haven't heard before, right? But being consistent in those things, showing up, and then really having a mindset to getting the things done. When you start seeing those extra zeros in your bank account, you go be more happier. Ask me how I know. Okay. So we want to have a different mindset going into this year around what we call luxury, and also stop almost kind of making fun of people when we think that they're doing better than us. I call it the Toyota method, syndrome. And it kind of goes like this. If you saw your best friend win a Toyota, you'd be so happy for them, right? A Toyota is not a luxury car. It's something to get to point A to point B. I get it. But if you saw somebody you knew got a Maserati, if your first inclination when you think of that is like, ooh, why? How did they win it? Why did they get it instead of me? My thought process is, one, you're projecting, right? Because you don't think enough of yourself that you think that you're worthy to win something of that, and you think that the only way someone can make a win like that is because they did something that wasn't honorable. The thing of the matter is that we all should be doing good business amongst each other, which leads to the subject that we're going to talk about next is customer service. But yeah, we most definitely need to start thinking more highly of ourselves, which kind of takes into the thought process. Reason why I wrote my first journal was around self-reflection, right? The way that you believe about yourself is the way that you project in the world. And we need to be more clear about what we desire and how we move and quantify those things. So your homework, let's make sure we come back to that, is I want you to write down, what does it look like if you had everything that you desired? And then quantify that thing and what you actually need to do in your business to get it. So if you want someone to come clean up your house, you want somebody to watch your kids more frequently, you want someone to come cook for you, you want to live in a better neighborhood, have a better environment, let's quantify how much it costs for you to do that thing. And then now you create your key performance indicators around that thing so that you can reach your goals. I don't think that any entrepreneur has a problem making money. I think a lot of entrepreneurs have a problem keeping track of the results and the progress they're making to that thing. So if you're saying, oh, I want to be a 6-figure entrepreneur, and now we at the end of December, now when you watch this, the beginning of January, and you're like, now it's time to do taxes, and you're like, oh my goodness, I only made 65,000. Do you think that you could have come to that conclusion back in June if you'd have been looking at your numbers, if you would have been quantifying the things that you're doing? And then also the flip side of that is, although quantifying your time, making sure you understand the expectation that you put on the person who's doing the job that you're hiring them for. Because the other part is, I've also wasted money hiring people and they didn't do all the things that I needed them to do for what I paid them for too. So that goes for hiring coaches, going to seminars and conferences. I went to a lot of conferences. It was just bells and whistles, to be totally honest with you. I ain't naming no name. But what I will say is, like, you need to go in with what am I expecting when I go to this thing? And I know now that a lot of times when I go to conferences, it's really to network. I might get a nugget or two about some things, but the reality situation is most of them are networking events. And that takes me back to the coaching that I'm doing, TTC Academy. I'm going to talk about it every episode. I really want to show you the hows to do your business. And I think that's the piece that's missing amongst entrepreneurs, is that they don't have the systems and structures to make implementation around the things that they learn. So let's promise each other, pinky promise me, that this year you're going to still read the books, you're still going to go to the conferences, but you're going to start implementing the things you learned. I don't want you to be a sponge. I want you to be the doer. I don't want you to keep, diving deeper and having philosophical conversations with your other entrepreneur friends. I want us to get to the doing part so that you can get to your bag, so that you can create generational wealth, so that you can have financial freedom and all the words that we use in the ecosystem on social media around entrepreneurship. But you can't get to any of those things if you're not actually doing the work, right? So that's the point blank in the period. So I hope that you got some takeaways from this. We're going to get to the church announcements. Church announcements. TTC Academy is open. So that's something you're interested in and you're looking for a coach. $24.99 a month, right? We've already, if you have already signed up in December, you're on the email list. I've already downloaded a 1-pager business plan so we can get clear about what we're selling, who we're selling it to, and all the tangibles around that. I also put a purposeful marketing plan in the group, and there's a lot of other things that I'll be dropping in the next couple of weeks. So giving out the curriculum for the rest of the year. We're going to actually have a lot of our sessions are going to be working sessions, so I can show you how to figure out what your prices are, and then make your goals. And then we're going to have accountability, and I'm going to be asking you, like, at the end of March, how was quarter one, right? How did you meet your marks? Did you sell all the books that you said you wanted to sell? Did you sell all the journals? Did you sell all the lotions? Did you sign up 10 different people for your services, right? Because that's a part of the accountability piece, to make sure that you're getting to your goals. So at the end of the year, you're not like, so what happened? Because you already know what happened, right? So that's part. So that's it. That's all. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.